Yeah, bye. All right, XOXO. Got a girl. Audra at Home is filmed in front of a live Pitbull audience. Good morrow and merry meet. My name is Audra and you are in for a treat. All right, this look was created in a palette chat. Hopefully I decided to edit it and put it up. But yeah, I'm loving it. Listen, I'm doing whatever I can with my hair at this point in time because baby, I work a lot. I've said it multiple times, but I have not been able to hit the my stylist in a little bit. So here we are. All right, so I'm hoping next Wednesday. Christy, do you hear me? I'm calling your name. All right, so today I wanted to talk about something that's been on my mind for a little bit, and that is makeup fatigue. It's one of the reasons why I definitely think that interest in beauty YouTube is waning. We are fatigued by makeup, and I want to talk about some of the reasons why. I'm hoping that this will be a quick video and not like a 30-minute to-do. So let's get started. I've said this before and I'll say it again, the pandemic. So, during the pandemic, when it first started, you had a lot of brands taking a break on not releasing stuff because we couldn't go into the store, correct? Correct. So since we couldn't go into the store, brands didn't want to release their collections because they knew in their minds that people weren't going to buy it without being able to get it to people and all of these things, because you couldn't ship anything either. Like you could, but it was going nowhere. So they knew releasing stuff wasn't going to be helpful because they couldn't get it out to influencers. Influencers wouldn't get it in a timely fashion and then be able to review it and talk about it. So like you, the consumer, me, the consumer, I, we, us, they, we could not actually get our hands on it or see how it worked in person, get any reviews. Brands knew that. But then the floodgates began to open, and all of a sudden, all of the stuff that they had to hold back and all of the releases that they normally would have had staggered, it was just like, wha-cha. Down the map. We're all gonna starve! Get away from my guys, come on! Everything. It was Valentine's Day, spring, summer, like everything just started coming out at one time because their timetables got fucked. And because of that, I feel like we had to very much, or didn't have to. I feel like we very much were buying a lot of different makeup, seeing a lot of different things, and just like buying, and it was a lot of releases at one time. I feel like it's finally starting to slow down. I mean, not Makeup Revolution and not ColourPop, but with everybody else, it's finally starting to get to this slowdown where they've caught up. But I feel like in that period of them trying to like catch up and release all this makeup that they hadn't been able to release and get out to influencers, when they finally were able to like push this stuff out and get it into hands, I feel like it was just a lot of makeup releases. Like we couldn't really like take a gasp, but also same breath, we didn't really want to take a gasp, like because we were escaping into our love of makeup to like get away from loneliness and to also get away from the fact that like the scariness of what was happening with COVID, right? We were all like, oh. So I feel like there was a lot of scariness happening. Makeup brands were releasing like everything, and the pandemic really changed, you know, how we feel. It made us tired. I feel like I got tired, and I feel like even currently I am tired. There is some makeup that does like excite me from time to time, but I'm not like, ooh, must have it like as much as I used to. And you can even see it in my new makeup nonsense where like there's not nearly as much stuff that I'm excited about, and there's just more stuff where I'm like, That also brings me to this. I feel like another thing that's happening is that there are no cohesive color stories anymore. There's not as many cohesive color stories. And here's what I mean. Once upon a time, you had like brands that released stuff like this. This is the Colored Rain Beauty Rust palette, right? Very easy to like put together what's happening here. You can see that, you know, it is rust. It is a rust colored palette. Even the green is like, you know, included in that color scheme. And it's very easy. It's a very easy color story. And you're like, okay, got it. You know what I mean? I understand you. I see what you're doing there. You can even go over here to the Lowest Cosmetics Rose Metal palette. Roses with a little bit of metal, you know what I mean? Like you've got this dark shade, which metal is multi-toned in here, in that it's like this dark shade here that's bittersweet, and then you have like the shimmers that are metallic, you know what I mean? So you have like the rose color story with like the metal feel, right? Easy to understand. what I see happening right now is you have these palettes that are coming out, and it feels like brands are literally trying to please like every single person. And I feel like palettes in years past weren't doing that. It was more like, this is the color story that I am presenting to you, and whether or not you like it, that's okay. There are people, like, we're targeting this market of people and they're gonna be happy with it, right? And I say that all the time. What's basic bitch for one isn't basic bitch for another, but what's basic bitch for me, which is a generally colorful color story, is not basic bitch for other people. They're like, wow, color. But I feel like you constantly see this. I saw it with the Doja Cat, saw it with Corpse Bride. I've seen it happening over and over and over again, where it feels like brands are putting out these like really big palettes that really, if you look at it, you can just cut it in half and it's two separate palettes. And I feel like because they're not being cohesive, it's like bringing a fatigue to your eye and to the makeup lover in you, because you're just like, there's so much going on here and it's very tiresome. I kind of just want a color story that's simple and easy and elegant and fun, whatever that means to you, right? But these ginormous collections that have like 4 different palettes and there's just almost every possible color available. It feels very scattershot, and it feels like they're just trying to get anyone and everyone to be like, ooh, there's something for me in it, which there is. But see, we're discerning customers. And I feel like the thing is, yes, there's something for me in these palettes, but I'm like, yeah, but there's a whole other half of it that I'm not gonna use. For instance, I can even remember when the RBK Pure palette was coming out, and I just wasn't interested in it because I was like, there's a whole half of this palette I'm never gonna use. Period. Like, there's a colorful side and there's a basic bitch side. And that's fine, but I'm very rarely gonna wanna use it. Look at me. Look at me. Do you think that I'm gonna want to use the basic bitch side all that often? My job doesn't even require it. I don't have to look basic at all at work. I could look like this at work and it would be fine. You know what I mean? So like, I do feel like because brands have like moved into this very weird scattershot, try to get everybody to buy their palettes, I do feel like we're tired. We're just like, looking at this is tiresome and buying it is tiresome. Like, you're just kind of like, yeah, I just want something to be simple and easy, and I don't really need a 47 shade palette. Like, I'm good, bro. I'm looking at my notes, y'all. The third thing that I want to talk about is that there is an overabundance of random collabs. Now, I'm not talking about things like Teresa's palette, the Odin's Eye Legendary Collection, of which my dear friend Tina has a palette in. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like collabs with Chipotle and candy brands and Monopoly, like Hasbro. I feel like this has just become so overwhelming, and it just feels like not well thought out. It feels very much like they've just run out of ideas. And I also feel like, if I'm gonna be honest, that brands are getting a little bit leery of collabing with influencers. I get it. Like, I get it. We're not like celebrities in that we can be problematic as fuck, and the brand doesn't really know about it because a lot of us don't have PR teams and all of this shit around us because we're not all huge YouTubers. And so that being the case, we can just pop off out the mouth and like fuck everything up, right? Right. So I feel like there's this huge amount of just a lot of random collabs, and we're all kind of staring at like Benefit and what are those shoes? Them cloggy shoes? You know what I mean? I can't remember their name right off the top of my head for some reason, but it's like, you know what I'm talking. And the Jibbits, and I only remember that because of Mel. Thank you, Mel. But they have the Jibbits. What are they called? I don't care. Crocs. I found it. You're welcome. That was such a weird, random collab, and we're just all looking at it like with confusion on our faces, like, so. Or like, I would not be surprised if it was like Mac and Adidas. You know what I mean? Like, that's where we're headed. We're headed to this point where I'm just like, is everything just gonna be a part of everything? And I feel like for me, that makes makeup tiresome. Some of them I do like, I'm not gonna lie. Some of them I'm just like, bitch, yes, I want this, and that. But others, I do kind of sit there and I'm just like,
can we talk about?
Can we talk about this for a second? Because it's getting weird. I feel like it's getting a little weird. Like, again, some of them are cute, but I feel like the overabundance of these like weird food branding, brand on brand love, it's getting a little excessive. And I feel like it is giving us like makeup fatigue. Because you just like, we're all at this point where we just kind of expect random shit to like just be in your makeup collab now. You know what I mean? Like I just like, I really, if they turned around tomorrow and we're just like, you know, Nike is collabing with Urban Decay, I wouldn't be shocked. I'd be like, I mean, this is the age we live in. Here's another thing I want to talk about. I'm very excited that they started bringing color in, that they really started appreciating color-loving bitches like myself. Yes, I looked at myself because god dang, I look good. I'm sorry. I love this look. I got on Trophy Wife. Like, psh, you can't tell me shit when I have on Trophy Wife. I've said this before when I talk about the highlighter, but like, you can't tell me anything. When I have this highlighter on, get out of my face. Anywho's, my last point that I wanted to make is I'm so excited that they started really paying attention to color and like understanding that colorful bitches exist and that colorful palettes do in fact sell. However, what happened to our neutral palettes? Now I know y'all are all looking at me like, Audra, you don't even like neutral. I know I don't, but some of you do. What happened to them? I remember when basic bitch palettes used to have some pop to them, and I feel like that has died. Like, did y'all see all of the brown of the Jaclyn Morphe collab? And I'm just like, I'm so confused because I feel like there was a phase where they really were trying to make neutrals more fun. For people who liked a more like neutral basic palette, but then they would like pop in like a beautiful cranberry, you know, shimmer, or neutral with a pop of blue, you know, neutral with a pop of green. There was always like just a little something extra, and I feel like that is dying. Like, I feel like the neutrals that used to be around, that used to just give like a little extra, are dying. And like, it's like they got all excited about color and they were like, yeah, we're making colorful palettes now because people like color. Thank you, but y'all left your neutral bitches in the dust. Like, you can do both things. Two things can be true at the same time. Colorful palettes can be fun, poppin', and people can want them, but also the neutral bitches need love too. Please take care of them. Please take care of them. They're sad. I don't care. I know it's like, oh, well, they have that palette like a gazillion times over.
So do I.
Okay, I have multiple colorful palettes. I'm not gonna like make fun of you. You know, if you are a neutral person and you have 17 neutral palettes that look similar to each, I'm not one to judge. Who am I to judge you when I have all of these colorful palettes that have a lot of the same shades? I'm just saying that the fact that they just like won't, that they cannot seem to figure out that they need to do both of things at the same time, weird, because you could actually draw both crowds, right? You know what I mean? You could get a person to like start doing both when you play with them. And I feel like the neutrals with the pops were what got some people into understanding color a little bit, where they were like, oh, I kind of like this bright green shimmer. I didn't realize that it would look good. I thought it would be too much for me. You know, and to like make like the golds and the greens just a little bit more extra in some of these neutral palettes, so that people could like see what a shade like that might look like on them, and then they might enjoy it, right? And be like, maybe I will get a colorful palette, and then you like sold them on both. And then, you know, for me, the colorful people, like, y'all's neutral palettes are so boring that even I can't find something good to say about them. Like, I'm like, oh, there's really nothing. I'm sad-faced. Why are you doing this? And finally, I do think my final point I thought that was my final one, but I had one more that I didn't write down. And it is this. I feel like because beauty YouTube used to be like a lot of tutorials, right? And we've fallen away from that. It's a lot of reviews and commentary, whatever it is. There's a lot of different stuff that happens in beauty YouTube now. But with makeup fatigue, it's the fact that like, there aren't really tutorials anymore. Like, some people still do them, but not really. And I think it's like tiresome in some ways to watch a lot of reviews like, especially if you're not in the mood to buy things, because for some people, watching reviews helps them to not buy things. But for some people, if they're not in the mood to buy, they just really don't want to watch a review until they're ready to buy, and then they'll come find that particular video later, or those videos from a few people later. But I think without tutorials, because there's really not a lot to teach anymore, and I'm not saying like, oh, there's nothing to teach. I'm saying new concept wise. There's not a lot of new looks. Like when the cut crease came out, it was like, psh, bitch, it's over. Remember? I was like, I'm gonna do a cut crease. And then they were like it was very like, keep your hands steady, ho. You know, it was a whole to do. And then like now it's not really a big deal, and you can cut your crease any way you want to. Like there's no, like, it's just however you want to do it, whatever works for you is what you do, right? And I feel like that's a big thing, is like now you just do your makeup how you want. And while there are like tips and tricks, I feel like there's just more people talking and doing makeup, which can be, I find that to be peaceful. I do think that the fatigue of like not having space from like the reviews, I think like Get Ready With Me's are starting to get back into popularity, and they have been for a little while, but I'm noticing that more people gravitate towards a Get Ready With Me because there's something calming about it. You don't have to be looking at the screen a lot of times unless you want to see what they did. If you look and you're like, oh my God, what did they do? I think that's another good thing about YouTube. It's like you can, you know, pause and rewind and see how they did that and whatnot, but you don't have to like, and you don't even have to see how they did it. You can just see this final result, right? And be like, I'm gonna try to recreate that. And you can like screenshot it and do your thing. But I do think that like not having like a break from like constant reviews, I do think that that is bringing us a little bit of makeup fatigue. Not to bag on anybody who does reviews, because I do them myself, but I'm gonna say, yeah, it is a little tiresome. Like I feel like there's just a level of us where we're just kind of like trying to chill out from just like all the shit that's happened in the beauty YouTube sphere. I feel like we're trying to like just reach that like nice chill area again, and I feel like it'll be a couple years and we'll get there. I say that all the time, but like I do think that makeup fatigue is a thing. I think I find myself gravitating more towards like older palettes and older makeup that I wanted to try, and less on new stuff, and I'm watching a lot less reviews. So I don't know, y'all let me know in the comments, how are y'all feeling? Are you experiencing some makeup fatigue, or is that just me? Anywho's, I said it was gonna be short, and a minute I got to go because I gotta take a shower, because honestly, I fucking stink. If you enjoyed this video, please do me a favor and give this video a big thumbs up, so then that way the algorithm goddess can do what she does best, which is push me further down into the algorithm so that I can continue to do whatever the fuck I want to. All right, as usual, huge shout out to my patrons and spooky bays, yeah. All right, without y'all, I truly would not be able to keep the bats in the belfry and the spiders firmly ensconced in their webs, which, by the way, every day at work, I usually have 1 or 2 spiders who tries to make its home on me, and I'm like, not today, sir, madam, not today. For all of you who watch, like, share, and subscribe, I appreciate you as well. All right, you know the drill. It costs $0 to be kind. It's so good for your soul, because if you don't take care of it, it's soul snatching season, bitch, and I am in the mood to snatch. Until next time, XOXO. Gala girl. Should I be drinking water instead of beer? Absolutely. Oh, there's a lot of mess already. Do I care right now? No. Let's come in just a smidgen closer. There we go. It's been a wonderful day. I got off work at a decent time, and I was able to film, and baby, it's on. So, woo! To the shower with me.